Okay, so here's a drawing I did. Initially I wanted to paint something with this, but I had just drawn it too small and I knew if I tried to paint it, I would just ruin it. So I just took a picture and decided to do it digitally. Um, yeah, so I was really struggling with the crescent moon here, so I ended up tracing it. Um, Goodness, this is difficult. But yeah, I'm okay, yeah, here, so I'm trying to do the hand here. It was like, okay, I was struggling right here because I was trying to figure out, like, if the thumb would be there or the pinky. I figured out it was the thumb. Yeah, but I was struggling with that. Here I'm fixing the head because I felt like the head was just sitting a little weird. Um, at this point, I kind of like started divulging off of the initial sketch that I did on paper and just really did my own thing based off of references that I pulled up. Um, her, the thing is, like, I was kind of struggling with the hair because, at least the bang part, because I just kind of felt like the style I was doing it in, it was hard to translate what the bangs were doing, if that makes sense. Um, because like the bangs are more drawn in anime style, but it's also like very Sailor Moon. Like the bangs are like a very signature part of Sailor Moon, so it was difficult. Here I put the cat in a different spot than what it was originally in my sketch. Um, Diana, I mean. I was kind of struggling with the second cat. Like, okay, the cat that Sailor Moon is holding, I really liked how I drew that cat, but just like Diana, I was just really struggling with. Well, I guess you can't really tell because they're not colored in right now, but yeah, the cat on her lap is Diana. Um, I don't know, it was just really difficult. Even in the end, I just wasn't really happy with what it looked like. Um, the bow here, the perspective, I was struggling with like how the bow would be sitting. In the end, I think I'm satisfied with how it looks, but I don't think it's entirely correct. Yeah, here I am in like modifying the cat. Still not too happy with it. It looks a bit ferret-like. Okay, I shortened the neck because it was looking a bit ferret-like. Here, I'm not too upset about it. I think it might be a little small. Like, I think the, what's it called? Shit, what's the word? Um, oh my god. Okay, well, I just think I drew the cat a little small for what it needed to be. I'm somewhat happy with how it looks here, but later on I get a little more unhappy. Oh my god, this part, the part that I'm doing right now, I was struggling with. I had to keep erasing it and redoing it. Um, when I go on to the more solid line art, I just kept redoing it. It was really difficult. Um, yeah, and I just started going in with like a different color just so I wouldn't get as confused. I am on a different layer on this part. Um, Her bow that's like behind her, I was kind of struggling with how I wanted that to sit because like the reference images, it was just difficult. I decided I wanted the moon she was sitting on to be like the wand. Um, I think it's pretty cute, you know. And now I'm gonna sit here staring at it for a bit while I do this. Yeah, I mean, I don't draw very often, but when I do, I like to go, like, I don't know. I was just very proud of, like, the sketch that I had done. Oh my god, eyelashes. I struggle with eyelashes so much. Here I'm trying to implement a technique I see other digital artists use where they, like, flesh it out in one color. Um, yeah, I mean, that's all I have to say about that. As I was saying, I don't draw very often, but I was really proud of this sketch and I didn't want it to go to waste, so I was like trying really hard to make it look good. Um, I tend to not really like I'm not very good at coloring in my digital pieces. Hang on, I'll show a picture. Yeah, so here's an OC that I've done. As you can see, I don't really like how I do shading and stuff like that. I've been struggling with doing shading and stuff like that. Um, Her hair, I'm not too happy with either. Um, Also, you could see how I don't really know what to do with eyes and eyelashes. Um, yeah. Also, if I go over here, here's another piece I did. I'm even less happy with this. Like, I don't know what the fuck is going on here. I don't like it. The shading is bad. Their faces look kind of weird. I just don't like it. I might redo it eventually. It's just like, whatever. Um, but yeah, I think like from the sketch that I have now is a lot better than whatever the hell is going on here. Well, I'm not too mad at the shading on his face, you know? It's kind of nice. But here, this is probably one of my more favorite, or not my more favorite, my better shading, or I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. I shaded this one better than some of my other pieces. But again, with the eyelashes and the eyes, I don't really know what I'm doing there. All right, back to this though. The eyes, I think I redid the eyes a couple times, but the end product I actually am happy with. Like the first time I actually was like, oh, okay, yeah, I think I did the lashes pretty good. Um, I did end up redoing some of the line work, just because I felt like it was a bit too messy for my liking. Like it was a little too sketchy. Um, but I'm not sure at what part I started redoing that. But here I am doing just like the shoulder pieces. I was kind of struggling with that too, but I managed to get it down. Um, I think I'm redoing like the mouth. Oh my god, the mouth. I redid the mouth so many times. I was really struggling with what I wanted for that. I don't really have a consistent art style, I would say. Like, things change up every single time I do it, so I just wasn't sure what kind of mouth I wanted to do at this point. I think what I ended up with, I'm happy with, though. Um, Not entirely sure what's going on in this frame. Okay, yes, it looks like I'm just fleshing out some of the line work, making it more, a bit more defined, redoing it a little bit. I'm doing this on a separate layer, and I ended up deleting the first layer, or the first line art layer that I did. Um, yeah, I mean, I've kind of been struggling because, like, I know a lot of artists, like, just color on top of their sketch layer. I'm not entirely, I want to do that, but I'm not really sure how to execute it. There's a lot of techniques that I see other artists do that I'm just not entirely sure how to, like, make it look good. Like, they make it look so good, and I just don't know how to do it. I mentioned this earlier, but I don't really draw that often, actually. Um, I've always been like someone who draws here and there, but I have a hard time um, sticking to it, if that makes sense. Like sometimes I really, really, really like drawing, and other times it feels like a chore. Um, I felt this drawing in particular, the initial paper sketch that I did, I actually really liked it. Like, and I wasn't even going to draw in the first place. I remember like I was like not feeling the best, and I had like suddenly gotten the motivation to do some drawing. I got all the stuff out, and then I didn't feel like doing it anymore, so I wasn't gonna do it. But then my friend was like, no, if like you should force yourself to like to do something productive, because honestly I'm unemployed and I dropped out of school, so I have not been very productive lately. So yeah, I started sketching it, and I really liked it. I was going to paint it, but I decided like I didn't want to ruin it, so I wanted to do it digitally. Um, I don't, I would say my skill set digitally isn't the best, but I'm working on it. And I was actually really proud with how this turned out. I've never really recorded a video like this before where I'll like take the time lapse and do a voiceover and explain what I'm doing, but I really felt like I was trying to improve this time and trying to try something new and try different techniques, and I really wanted this to look good because I was really happy with the sketch. um, and I felt like, you know, I feel I feel good about this. Like even though like there's like some critique that I have of it, I still feel good about it, and I want to be able to, I guess, share the struggle of like trying to improve and critiquing your artwork and trying to fix certain things that bug you. I don't know if I'm making sense, but it makes sense in my head. I just wanted to share because I was proud of this piece and I was able to like walk through it and learn as I was doing it. Which usually I feel like a lot of artists like just have certain techniques that they do and certain styles that they do and all kinds of different things. I don't really have that. I try different things every single time, but I really want to hone in on my skills and be able to create consistent pieces, you know? So it looks the same every time and I want it to look good. I feel like a lot of times it doesn't look to my like to what I imagine in my head. Like I feel like I disappoint myself because I have this nice sketch that I have, and then I just end up like coloring it in and making it look muddy, if that makes sense. Um, I think here I'm just tweaking with. Actually, I'm not entirely sure what's going on. um, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really remember what I was doing at this point. Oh yeah, okay. I'm just yeah, so like I felt like I needed to make the shoulder pieces like tweak the opacity on that because I wasn't entirely sure what it was on Sailor Moon, just because like the anime style, it's like kind of hard to compute, but I felt like it was supposed to be transparent. I'm not entirely sure. Here I'm just coloring in the hair pink. Later on I'm going to change it to the yellow. I just wanted it to be one solid color for now so I could see like the different parts that I was working with. There's the yellow. Yeah, I think at this point I'm just making everything the right colors. This part was a pain in my ass because I had too many layers at this point and I couldn't separate this on a layer. So I just like was coloring it all on the same layer. And I'm so used to having like several different layers for each little part. And it was really annoying. But I managed to get it to look like how I wanted. This part, what am I doing? Not entirely sure what's going on in here either. Oh my god. Okay, so the her buns, I was struggling with that because like okay, the one on the left, my left, the left of the screen, I was not sure if it was like sitting right on the head. I wasn't sure if either of them were sitting right on the head. Like I was struggling with the perspective of this. And oh my god, the shading. The shading I was struggling with so much because I really did not want to make this look muddy like all my other pieces. Because I feel like that's always where I go wrong. I start shading the skin and then it looks really muddy and then I don't like it. I redid the shading like 3 or 4 different times, something like that. What you see right now, I'm going to totally get rid of in a bit. Yep, got rid of it and did it again, and I'm probably gonna get rid of this again too. It's just like, I don't know, I really struggle with shading sometimes. This time I think I did a good job. I think my problem is the color I'm using to shade is too dark and it's too harsh. I did end up changing the opacity of the shading later on. Yeah, at that point I had given up on the shading and moved on to the eyes and decided I'll come back to the shading later. The eyes, I actually really like the eyes. Oh my god, the eyes on Diana though. The eyes on Diana, I did not like that. I don't even like the final product of Diana. Like anything about her, I just wasn't very fond of. I really like how I drew Artemis. I really like how I drew Artemis and like Artemis's eye and everything. But Diana, I didn't like. And her eyes, I didn't like. I think I ended up redoing her eyes and I still don't like how I redid it. But whatever, it's not the focal piece. Though I do wish it looked good. I think in a bit I'm going to start working on the background because I got tired of whatever I was doing. Yeah, I got tired of whatever I was doing and I started working on the background. Just because, like, usually I don't really know what to do with the background, but this time I was like, oh, I'll do a night sky. I don't know. I feel like the background looks a little tacky, but you know, whatever. It's fine. I think it's not the focal piece, so it goes. It's fine. Whatever. The shading on the skirt. Yeah, I didn't really feel like doing like multiple different colored shading for because since it was like a multicolored skirt, so I just did like all black shading and changed the opacity. I think it turned out fine. I like it. Oh, the bow. I redid the bow shading. Well, I didn't redo it. I was just kind of struggling with the bow shading. I think it looked fine in the end. Not entirely 100% proud of it, but you know, it's fine. It's fine. Let's see. Oh, I'm not entirely sure when I started shading like the gold parts. Yeah, okay. I'm shading the gold parts. I used like a greenish color to shade the gold parts because I think I saw on Jazz's channel that to make gold look like gold, you use green. I'm not entirely sure how much I like it, but I didn't feel like changing it because I had done it all on the same layer and it would have just taken too much effort to redo it. I think it looks fine enough. Not entirely sure what's going on here. Oh yeah, okay. So the part I wasn't entirely sure if like the shoulder parts went over her like blue sailor cape thing or under it. And oh my god, I was going to go back and shade it to make it look like it was under, but I just forgot. Oh my god, I was really struggling with shading the cats too. I'm not sure if I already did that in this time lapse or not. I kind of blinked and it was done, so I'm not sure. I really like how I made it look like the moon was glowing. I don't really experiment with like glowing like that, but oh my god, here's when I do the lips over and over and over again. Yeah, I really struggled with that. I really like how I did the blush though. I think the end product with the lips looks good, and I'm probably gonna do lips like that from now on. It just looks good to me. The face. This is actually one of the what am I trying to say? This is the most proud I've been of a face up in a while. Though I will say I'm not too happy with the nose, but I did, like, in the final product, I did end up going in with the liquify tool to make it just look a little different. I'll put the final product at the end, of course, but let's see what I'm doing here. Not entirely sure what's going on here. I'm sorry. I'm not very good at editing. Oh, okay. Now I'm doing the hair. But as I was saying, I'm not really good at editing. So I'm kind of just like voicing it over as I'm watching the time lapse that Procreate makes for you. And it's kind of small, so I don't always know what's going on. The hair shading, I kind of struggled with like the top of her head, like her bang area. Her like ponytail, her ponytails were somewhat easy to do, but just hair is just really difficult for me, especially like the top of the head and like the buns and like the bangs. It just didn't look right. In the end, it didn't really look right either, but you know, it was fine enough. I think I redid the shading like several times on this because I wasn't happy with it. Um, there's several things that I redid multiple times because I wasn't happy with it. I think the hair looks good enough towards the end, at least the ponytails do. Still not entirely, like I said, still not entirely happy with like the bangs and the head area, but you know, it's fine. It's fine. Well, I'm mostly convincing myself that it's fine, but it's whatever. um, I spent a really long time on the hair. I think the hair probably took me took me the longest out of everything on this. This piece has taken me probably like 3 or 4 days. I finished it this morning, which is nice, but yeah, I spent a really long time on this piece because I just, like I said earlier, I just really wanted it to look good because I didn't want to ruin my sketch because it was a nice sketch. It was a pretty sketch. Again, not entirely sure what's going on here. I think I'm tweaking with the hair again. I think I want to get better at my techniques. Okay, here's the thing. Sometimes I come up with a technique I like to do, especially when it comes to hair, and then I forget how I did it when I like go to sleep and come back to it, and then it's just like inconsistent. I was able to make it look mostly consistent, but I did notice that I was being a little inconsistent when I ended up going on to like the back layers of the hair. Because I did the hair in 2 different layers because I didn't want the back or the foreground to mix in with the background hair, if that makes sense. The highlights, I don't know. I was kind of confused. Okay, you know how like the hair wraps around the moon? I was kind of confused on how like the light would reflect off of the hair. I ended up not really messing with that and just like shading the hair, pretending that the moon wasn't glowing. Probably a bad decision on my part, but whatever. I just don't know. Oh my god, that voice crack. I just don't really know what to do with it, to be honest. And again, I don't really know what's going on here. Oh, okay. So the gemstones on the wand, I don't know what the fuck I was doing there. I'm not really sure at what part I did that. The recording button kind of covered it up so I didn't see when I did it. But yeah, I was really struggling with that. I don't know what gemstones look like. I'm really bad with like organic things like that. And I didn't feel like bringing up a reference, so I kind of just like did what I thought it would look like. I think it looks fine enough, but you know, I could have done it better. What else? What else? Okay, the shading on her choker, also not the best. I don't know. It was just like hard for me to. It's hard to do gold. Gold is just like reflections and stuff like that is like really hard for me. I'm not very good at it, and I don't really feel like looking into it, to be honest. Okay, at this point, I think I had decided that I needed more shading on the moon. I didn't really know how the shading would work because, like, if it's like creating a light source, how would you shade it, you know? I think I did a good job. I think it looks fine. It looks like it's round, you know, but it still looks like it's glowing. Not entirely sure. Oh, I was really struggling with like, okay, she's sitting on it, so her body would cast a shadow on it, but how does that work if it's a light source? Um, I didn't really go into depth with that. I think I could have done better. I shaded it a little bit. I didn't know how I would go about it, so I didn't really shade it too much. But I think I did a fine enough job. Here's the finished product. Product. Um, the quality is, it's kind of hard to see all the details. But here it is. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, that's it. I like it. It's good. I could have done better, but with my skill set, I think I did a really good job.